What if I told you that inside you lies an energy as old as the stars and as powerful as creation itself? An energy capable of shaping reality, of drawing everything you desire toward you, and of turning simple wishes into tangible manifestations. This force isn't hidden in some distant temple, nor is it guarded by invisible keepers. It's pulsing within you right now, waiting to be awakened, cultivated, and directed. I'm talking about sexual alchemy. Since ancient times, sages and alchemists from various cultures have whispered about a hidden force, a sacred spark that, when recognized and transfigured, opens the door to unimaginable levels of personal power, unlimited creativity, and natural magnetism. The ancients did not see sexual energy merely as a means of reproduction or fleeting pleasure. They understood it as the purest expression of vital energy, the same substance from which the cosmos was forged. Through the ages, this knowledge was carefully guarded. Those who understood the art of transmuting sexual energy knew it wasn't just a path to physical ecstasy, but a mystical tool capable of raising energetic frequency, expanding consciousness, and attracting circumstances aligned with the deepest desires of the soul. Today, this wisdom is re-emerging from behind the veil of forgetfulness, reclaiming its place in the awareness of spiritual seekers. And you, standing at this threshold, are about to step into an understanding that can radically transform your relationship with your body, your mind, and with reality itself. In this video, we will unravel the mysteries of sexual alchemy. We'll explore its origins and its role in esoteric traditions. We'll break down its core concepts and learn how to consciously channel this energy to attract what your soul truly longs for. We'll talk about ancient practices, powerful analogies that shed light on how it works, and I'll give you practical tools to begin walking this sacred path. Get ready for a journey into the depths of your being. Where polarities merge, where energy rises like the awakened serpent, and where life itself becomes a conscious act of creation. Because when you master this energy, you don't just transform your inner world, you transform your entire reality. Throughout human history, civilizations that rose and fell left behind traces of a hidden knowledge, wisdom that reached far beyond mere physical survival. Among the dusty scrolls of Egypt, the carved temples of India, the crypts of Western esotericism, and the sacred mountains of China, a single truth is whispered under many different names. Sexual energy doesn't just create life. When refined and elevated, it opens the door to inner mastery and the deliberate creation of your reality. In ancient Egypt, the priests and priestesses of the Isiac and Osirian mystery spoke of the Ka, the vital force that links the body to the spirit. Within their rituals, techniques of transmutation were practiced to direct the energy generated by sexual union toward expanding consciousness and activating the divine potential latent in the human being. The union between Isis and Osiris was not only a metaphor for eternal love, but also for the fusion of inner polarities to awaken creative power. On the other side of the world, in ancient India, the Tantric scriptures reveal an equally profound wisdom. Tantra teaches that sexual energy, known as Shakti, is the manifestation of the universal feminine principle. When channeled and raised through the body's energy centers, the chakras, it awakens cosmic consciousness. The practice of Maituna, a sacred union, was not seen as mere indulgence, but as a ceremony for the expansion of the soul. Through the balanced union of masculine and feminine energies, the practitioner could experience the dissolution of the ego and the perception of universal oneness. In the Taoist tradition of China, sages cultivated the art of retaining and circulating sexual energy, known as Qi. According to these masters, sexual energy was the fundamental elixir which, when sublimated through practices like sexual Nigong or Qigong, nourished the vital organs, prolonged life, and facilitated connection with the Tao, the supreme source of all that exists. The concept of the microcosmic orbit, where energy rises from the perineum up the spine to the crown of the head, was seen as a path to bodily and spiritual enlightenment. Even in Western esoteric schools like medieval alchemy, we find this knowledge hidden in symbols and metaphors. Alchemists spoke of the conjunctio, the union of the sun and the moon, of sulfur and mercury, representing the fusion of inner opposites, the masculine and feminine, the conscious and unconscious. This integration was considered the essential step toward creating the Philosopher's Stone, a symbol of total transformation of the self and the manifestation of one's desired reality. Despite cultural and linguistic differences, all these traditions converge on a unified understanding: sexual energy is the prima materia, the sacred fire, which when consciously and reverently directed, opens the doors to a life of fulfillment, creativity, longevity, and connection with the divine. This knowledge, however, was not always accessible to everyone. For centuries it was reserved for initiates, those who, after rigorous tests of character, discipline, and purity of intention, proved themselves worthy of wielding this powerful energy without falling into manipulation or corruption. And it's no coincidence that this wisdom was obscured over time, hidden behind dogmas, prejudices, and misunderstandings. The power granted by sexual alchemy is so vast that ancient orders knew it had to be protected from unworthy hands. Today, we stand in the midst of a renaissance of this wisdom. As more souls seek to transcend material limitations and reconnect with their creative essence, the teachings of sexual alchemy rise again, inviting us to remember what we once knew. That within us beats the same force that shaped the stars, and now, it can shape our dreams. Imagine for a moment that within you flows a subterranean river, a stream of pure energy that runs silently beneath the layers of your ordinary awareness. This river is your sexual energy. It is not merely a biological impulse for reproduction, as modern society often teaches us to believe. It is a current of creative force, the same spark that ignited the formation of the universe, now lying dormant in every cell of your body. Sexual alchemy is the ancient and sacred art of learning to navigate this river, to channel its flow, and to transform it into something far greater than fleeting pleasure. Into personal magnetism, mental clarity, the power to manifest, and spiritual expansion. The first fundamental concept we must understand is that sexual energy is the energy of life itself. In modern terms, we might describe it as a highly concentrated form of bioelectricity. When this energy is cultivated instead of being unconsciously dispersed, it begins to saturate our organs, glands, and nervous system, giving rise to an unusual vitality and a magnetic presence, often described in ancient cultures as a radiant aura or a strengthened energy field. This is not repression, but conscious transmutation. To achieve this, ancient traditions all agreed on one key principle. Energy follows attention. Wherever the mind goes, the life force flows. So during moments of arousal or desire, if we direct our attention not outward but inward, guiding the energy from the base of the spine up toward the heart or crown, we begin to nourish the more subtle layers of our being. This principle is known in Taoist teachings as the inner smile, and in Tantric practice as the rising of Kundalini. A powerful analogy is fire. If a fire is small and scattered, it barely warms its surroundings. But if it's contained and skillfully directed, it can melt metals or power great engines. That's how sexual energy works. When it is not wasted through excess or constant distraction, it becomes a potent fuel, able to power our goals, heal the body, and elevate consciousness. The second key concept is inner polarity. Every human being, regardless of gender, carries within them two complementary forces. The masculine, active, focused, penetrating. And the feminine, receptive, expansive, and creative. Sexual alchemy teaches that the secret to transmutation lies in achieving a balance between these polarities. When we fuse them internally, balancing logic with intuition, action with stillness, giving with receiving, we create a closed circuit that generates upward moving energy. A third essential principle is conscious breathing. It's no coincidence that every tradition of sexual alchemy, from Tantra to Taoism, emphasizes slow, deep, rhythmic breathing. Breath is the bridge between body and mind. It's the vehicle that moves sexual energy through the body's subtle channels. With deep breathing and clear visualization, we can guide this energy from the sexual center to the higher energy centers, expanding our awareness and amplifying our power to manifest. In essence, sexual alchemy begins with deep understanding. Sexual energy is a sacred, potent resource that can be cultivated, focused, and transformed for higher purposes. Through mindful awareness, inner balance, and conscious breath, we turn a basic instinct into a spiritual tool. And this is where the modern seeker begins to awaken to the hidden power that has always been within, waiting not to be repressed, but honored with reverence and wisdom. In the inner chambers of ancient temples, where only the most disciplined initiates were allowed, a secret was whispered, one that has traveled across centuries and civilizations. Sexual energy is not just a source of vitality, it's also a master key for shaping reality. To understand this is to enter the secret paths of inner alchemy, where the subtle laws of the universe intertwine with the deepest layers of our being. The first layer to explore is the connection between sexual energy and creative intention. In Hermetic and Tantric traditions, it was taught that every act of creation, whether it's a painting, a relationship, a project, or a new life path, stems from the same force that creates physical life. The difference lies in how we direct that energy. When we merge our sexual energy with clear intent and vivid visualization, we create a powerful resonance that draws in the circumstances, people, and opportunities needed to bring our vision into form. The ancients called this sexual magic. Today we might call it amplified energetic intention. Another crucial aspect is the purification of desire. In its raw state, sexual desire can be chaotic, impulsive, and ego-driven. But when we refine it, when we shift from seeking personal gratification to aspiring for growth, connection, and spiritual evolution, that same energy becomes more luminous, more subtle, and more powerful. The mystic said, "Purified desire is the vehicle of the soul." Through sexual alchemy, the practitioner stops being a slave to impulse and becomes an alchemist. Someone who transmutes desire into compassion, wisdom, and boundless creativity. Here, we arrive at a more advanced concept, emotional sublimation. Sexual energy isn't just physical, it's deeply connected to our emotions, passion, joy, sadness, even anger. Sexual alchemy teaches that all of these are simply different expressions of the same core energy. For instance, if in a moment of arousal we consciously mix in feelings of gratitude, love, or compassion, we elevate the vibrational frequency of the sexual energy, making it more coherent, magnetic, and healing. One powerful example is the fusion of the 5 elements meditation practiced by Taoist alchemists. In this technique, the practitioner visualizes emotional energies like fear, anger, or sadness transforming into their higher counterparts, wisdom, compassion, and balance, through the conscious circulation of sexual energy through the internal organs. Over time, this process not only strengthens the physical body, but also refines the psyche and expands consciousness. It's essential to understand that sexual alchemy is not a quick-fix technique for instant gratification, it is a progressive path. The ancients understood that the body, mind, and spirit must gradually adapt to rising levels of energy. That's why sexual alchemy was always accompanied by complementary practices such as meditation, conscious breathing, balanced nutrition, and constant self-observation. The goal is not to accumulate power for selfish purposes, but to become a clear and balanced channel for a much greater universal force. When the practitioner moves forward with patience, respect, and dedication, they begin to experience what the sages described as the union between the human and the divine. Transmuted sexual energy not only brings health, vitality, and magnetism, it also opens a deep connection to the source of creation. Life ceases to be a struggle of opposing forces and becomes a harmonious dance with the flow of the universe. It is at this point that, as the Hermetic text said, "As above, so below, as within, so without." Here, sexual alchemy reveals its true nature, a sacred technology for expanding consciousness, manifesting our highest ideals, and returning to the origin as conscious co-creators of reality. Sexual alchemy, with all its mystical depth and ancient roots, is not confined to temples or remote mountain retreats. Its true magic unfolds when we bring it into our everyday actions, turning each moment into an opportunity to refine our energy, expand our awareness, and magnetize our highest aspirations. Now, Here are 4 timeless practices you can integrate into your daily life to awaken and channel this powerful energy. First, cultivate conscious embodiment. The first step in sexual alchemy is returning to the body, not merely as a collection of organs or muscles, but as a sacred temple where life energy flows. Take a few minutes each day to feel the energy in your lower abdomen. This center, called the Tantien in Taoist tradition or Hara in Japan, is the energetic cauldron where vital force is stored. By breathing deeply into this area and keeping your attention anchored there, you begin to gather and stabilize your sexual energy, preventing it from being scattered by tension, worry, or external distractions. Second, use breath as your alchemical bridge. In sexual alchemy, breath is the vehicle that carries energy from the lower centers to the higher ones. Practice slow, deep, conscious breathing while visualizing energy rising from the base of your spine to the crown of your head. Let your breath be smooth, uninterrupted, and intentional. This technique not only channels sexual energy toward the heart and mind, it also calms the emotions and enhances mental clarity. In this way, the breath becomes a bridge between instinct and intuition. Third, clear intention and elevated emotion. Whenever you feel a surge of excitement or vitality, whether from creative inspiration, enthusiasm, or even physical attraction, pause for a few seconds and form a clear intention. This could be a project, emotional healing, or a spiritual goal. Pair this intention with elevated emotions like gratitude, compassion, or joy. This trio, sexual energy, conscious intention, and elevated emotion, is the alchemical triad that transforms mere desires into tangible manifestations. Fourth, conservation and circulation, not repression. One of the most common misconceptions is confusing sexual alchemy with repression or denial of sexuality. But this path is not about suppression. It's about learning to conserve and circulate energy, rather than allowing it to leak constantly through automatic habits or compulsive stimuli. To achieve this, cultivate practices like energetic self-massage, such as Qi Nei Sang, meditation, and mindful movement. These activities help balance your sexual energy with the rest of your system, ensuring it nourishes not only your physical body but also your mind and spirit. By adopting these practices, you'll not only increase your personal magnetism and inner clarity, you'll also harmonize your relationships, boost your creativity, and connect with a wellspring of internal well-being that transcends external circumstances. True sexual alchemy is not about the selfish accumulation of power, but the radiant expansion of our essential nature. It is the integration of body, mind, and soul into a cosmic dance of conscious creation. Remember, each everyday moment, no matter how simple, is an opportunity to refine your energy and draw closer to the sacred art of becoming a co-creator of your reality. Throughout this journey, we have descended into the depths of a wisdom hidden for centuries, sexual alchemy. This sacred art, beyond mere sensuality or fleeting desire, is a master key capable of opening the doors to inner transformation and conscious creation. We've come to understand that sexual energy is not just a biological impulse, it is a condensed expression of the creative force of the cosmos itself. The very principle that births stars, stirs oceans, and awakens the seeds of life. True alchemy isn't about seeking outside of ourselves for what already lives within. It's about refining, elevating, and transmuting dense energies into higher states of consciousness. Through embodied presence, conscious breathing, clear intention, and the mindful circulation of vital energy, we become the architects of our reality, able to attract and manifest whatever resonates with the frequency of our essential self. This is not just about ancient techniques or rituals. It's an invitation to live from an expanded state of consciousness, where every thought, emotion, and action aligns with your highest nature. When we cultivate and direct sexual energy with awareness, we dissolve inner fragmentation, unify our energy centers, and awaken a magnetic force that turns our life into a fertile field of infinite possibility. Let us remember that the ancient alchemists spoke of solve et coagula, dissolve and coagulate, as the essential process for any transmutation. In the same way, in our modern practice, we must dissolve old beliefs, reactive habits, and unconscious patterns, so that we may then coagulate, that is, crystallize, a new way of being, more whole, luminous, and sovereign.